Hmm. Now let me go to coordinate system and let me sort it out. Okay, that's better. Either in case of disk, you can go for polar coordinate and you can derive it out. Or you can take ring and you can generalize. Usually they will do like that. Okay, they will take a part of the disk as the ring and they will integrate that one. Okay, so better to do it in coordinate system so that it would be little easy. Okay, suppose you have a disk of radius capital R of total mass m. Okay, of radius r. Is that okay? Now what I do here is, let me, yeah, again I think I need r perpendicular square into dm. Am I right? So now here you need to define, just like in case of length, sigma mass per unit area. Okay, mass, total mass by total area. What is the total area? Pi r square. Am I right? Total mass by total area is equal to small mass by, so small area. Can I write dA? Is that okay? Small mass by small area, because that is density is constant. Is that okay? Uniformly distributed masses. Okay, so because of that one, I can define like this. Look at here, dm is equal to sigma into dA. Is that okay? So integral of, so r perpendicular is usually, if you take any mass here, okay, so any small areas, so any small patch here, let me take it like this. Is that okay? Or usually, since I am writing everything in polar coordinate, so how do I write? So let me take it like this. Okay, can you see this one? Is that okay? One small area dA corresponding to mass dm. Is that okay? Corresponding to mass dm. So it is at a distance r from the so axis of rotation. Is that okay? From the axis of rotation. Then again, let me write r here. Integral. What is dm? Sigma into dA. Sigma into dA. Is that okay? So sigma can be taken outside. Integral r dA. What is dA for plane polar coordinate? I think we have discussed somewhere. dA in case of plane polar coordinate. R dr d theta. Am I right? R dr d theta. You can write sigma integral r into r dr d theta. Am I right? I told this one how to define this one. If you have plane polar, this is the initial line. You can just define this one as d theta, and this area is, suppose this is r, this will be dr, this will be r d theta. Am I right? So that you can multiply dr with r d theta, you will get approximate area, small area, infinitely small area. Is that okay? So r dr d theta, that means what would happen? Sigma is m by pi r square. R is running from 0 to capital R. Theta is running from 0 to 2 pi. That's why. So 2 pi from d theta integral r square here, r cube by 3. Am I right? R cube, r square, r cube by 3. No, 3 won't come. 3 will come. I think mr square by 2 should come. Where's the mistake? Yeah, this was r square. Am I right? This was r square. R is to 4 by 4. Yeah, this is mr square by 2. Am I right? Yeah. So try to explore this coordinate geometry. Okay, that would be very easy and very general. Always, coordinate geometry is the most general one. Is that okay? Now you can go for sphere, hollow sphere. Is that okay? Hollow sphere, again, moment of inertia about an axis passing through its what you call very center as a diameter. Okay, axis has the diameter, so diameter as the axis. This is the center, hollow sphere. Okay, for hollow sphere also it's you have to define mass per unit area. Am I right? So then mass by what is the area? 4 5 r square. Let me take r as the radius of the sphere. Okay, is that over? Now let me define one small area here. Is that okay? I think you can use solid angle concept also. Let it be. Let it be. We shall do it in our way. Okay. Yeah, you can use solid angle concept also. Okay. Small area here. Okay. Small area here corresponds to this one. Let me. Yeah, I can write as dm by dA. So I can write as dm by dA. Now dm is equal to dA into sigma. dm is equal to sigma into dA. Where sigma equal to constant. Mass per unit area, it is constant throughout the region. If you take small region dm, dA, dm, again if you take the ratio remains the same. Now look at here, this mass dm, it is at perpendicular distance. Suppose this is theta, am I right? We are going to define this one as theta with the z axis. Let me take this one as z cap. Is that okay? This one as z cap. It is at an angle theta. And this is r, am I right? This radius is r, this dm, it is on the surface. Okay? From the center, it is at a distance r. Then what is this perpendicular distance actually? I better to draw it like this perpendicular. Is that okay? This perpendicular distance is equal to r sin theta. Perpendicular distance from the axis of the rotation. I have chosen axis of the rotation as z coordinate of my spherical polar coordinate. Then what would happen? This becomes r sin theta. Am I right? Once that becomes r sin theta, now how do you write integral of r perpendicular square into dm? So that's equal to what is r perpendicular? R sin theta whole square. What is dm? Sigma into dA. That writing dA is very important. So sigma into r square integral of sin square theta. You don't have to integrate with respect to r. Okay? Why? That's how you are integrating over the surface of the sphere, hollow sphere, surface of the sphere. That's why r is not variable. Theta and phi are variable in spherical polar coordinate. Okay? So learn this one. It would be very helpful. So now how do you write dA? Usually we shall discuss this one again in so vector calculus. Okay, vector calculus. This dA, area vector is equal to r square sin theta, r square sin theta, d theta d phi. Actually it will have, so it will be vector, it will be along r cap direction. Okay, actually we shall discuss it later. Okay, so now I think you can use, this is your solid angle, am I right? Little difficult to think. Okay, yeah, we shall argue that one later. Okay, so dA, can you just take it like this? I hope we have used that d tau, am I right? Volume element. What is that one? R square dr sin theta d theta d phi. Okay, similarly dA will be r square sin theta d theta sin theta d theta d phi, but r equal to capital R because you are defining on the surface. You are defining dA on the surface. That's why that becomes r square sin theta d theta d phi. You got sin cube theta 0 to pi integral. Can you do that one? Sin cube theta 0 to pi integral. What it will give? Ultimately, you know the answer. Do that one. Okay. do that part later. What's the answer? Any idea? 2 by 3 m is square m into r square. 2 by 3 m into r square. 2 by 3 m into r square. So do this integral, okay? Theta from 0 to pi, pi from 0 to 2 pi. One more 2 pi will come. Is that okay? 2 by 3 m r square. That is the moment of inertia of the hollow sphere by taking diameter as the axis. Any diameter. Which one? This one? Yeah, we shall discuss later. Let me just continue with this one. So decrease the resolution. Yeah, let us discuss that one, okay? That table problem later. Nice problem. Hollow sphere. So will you do this one? Because same kind of integrals we need to solve in electrodynamics again. Okay? So there again charge density will come usually. So similarly, last one, solid sphere. Solid sphere. In case of solid sphere, suppose, let me choose this is Z cap. Look at here. I want to take a small volume within that one. Am I right? Because it is distributed throughout the region. That's why I need to take very small volume within that one. Let me just draw it like this. Is that okay? And it will subtend some solid angle at the center actually. But let me write R here. Now R is also variable. The small volume should run throughout the region. Okay. And let me call that one as d tau corresponding mass dm. Is that okay? And now we are going to define mass density, total mass by total volume. What is that one? Let me take R as the radius of this one. Is that okay? Mass, total mass by total volume. That's equal to dm by d2. That's equal to dm by d2. But what is R perpendicular again? This is theta. This perpendicular distance is r sin theta. Perpendicular distance of the mass is r sin theta. Okay. So that's why again if you integrate integral of r perpendicular square into dm, what would you get? Dm is equal to a rho d tau. So you got r perpendicular, that means r sin theta the whole square. Dm is equal to rho d tau. Rho I can take outside. What is d tau? R sin theta the whole square. R square sin theta. Dr d theta d phi. R should be integrated from 0 to capital R. Theta from 0 to phi. Phi from 0 to 2 phi. Can you do that one later? This integral? That integral is, I think, that will be 2 by phi mr square. When you substitute this one, okay, you have to substitute this rho. Here also you have to substitute this sigma. And you better to remember that one. For hollow sphere 2 by 3 m r square. For solid sphere 2 by 5 m r square. Okay. Now we shall quickly take that parallel axis theorem and perpendicular axis theorem. I hope you know these things little bit. That's why I am making it very quick. Is that okay? But now try to use mathematics, okay, as much as possible. So they may use actually hollow sphere to prove this one. Is that okay? They may use ring to prove disk like that, okay? But you need to make use of coordinate geometry now. So perpendicular axis theorem for planar body. Okay. So perpendicular axis theorem. So does it look like planar? Two perpendicular axes on the plane of the body. One is perpendicular to the plane of the body. Okay. In that case, I can write Iz equal to Ix plus Iy. I hope you know this one. Because for disk, if you want to do something, you need to use this one. So example, you can calculate moment of inertia about the axis disk of mass m, radius capital R. Okay, radius capital R. So then, so what is Iz? Iz I can write as Ix plus Iy. Am I right? Now look at here. Ix and Iy both should be same. Am I right? This is symmetry, isn't it? So if you rotate about this Ix or about this Iy, it doesn't matter. Sorry, x or y axis, it doesn't matter. Okay, Ix means moment of inertia. Okay, I'm talking about, moment of inertia, x axis about y axis, like that. So can I write as 2 times Ix? But what is Iz? Iz about this axis, we have just proved earlier. What is that one? M r square divided by 2. Am I right? M r square divided by 2 divided by is equal to 2 into Ix. That's why Ix equal to Iy is equal to M r square by 4. You can apply this one. You should know Ix equal to Iy. That's because of symmetry. It doesn't matter which diameter you take on the plane of the disk, isn't it? So moment of inertia will be same. Parallel axis theorem. What it does is, we have a rigid body. Is that okay? We have a rigid body, and it will have some center of mass. Am I right? Somewhere it will have some center of mass. It will have some center of mass. So now let us take one axis which passes through the center of mass. Okay. No need to be preferable, no need to have any preferred orientation of this axis. Okay, that should pass through center of mass. Okay, and then other axis like this, is that okay? Parallel to that axis through center of mass. Parallel to axis through center of mass. Okay, let me call this one as, so moment of inertia about this axis as ICM. Okay, I call this one as I parallel. That I parallel is equal to ICM plus total mass of the body into perpendicular distance between, of course they should be parallel, distance between them. What shall I write? L. Is that okay? L square. Parallel axis theorem. Just quickly apply that one for again for disk. Again for disk to calculate what you call moment of inertia about this axis. Okay. Let me take a disk. Actually, center of the disk is center of mass. Am I right? I know this one. What is this one? ICM m r square by 2, where m is the mass, r is the radius. Is it okay? R is the radius. Now, moment of inertia about an axis parallel to that one, that's equal to, can I write directly here? I is equal to, about this axis, I equal to, so ICM m r square by 2 plus mass into distance between them. What is the distance between them? M into r square. Any questions? I hope you know this. Or quickly try to revise by taking any textbook, basic textbook. I parallel is equal to ICM plus mass into distance between, so that axis through center of mass and that parallel axis. Okay. And you got that is equal to 3 by 2 m r square. Similarly, you can do it for sphere. Okay. In case of hollow sphere, you had moment of inertia about this one. This is the center of mass. Am I right? Even if you take hollow sphere, what is this one? ICM 2 by 3 m r square. Am I right? R is the radius. Moment of inertia about an axis which just touches the surface of the sphere. Am I right? Which just touches the surface of the sphere, which is at a distance again r from the this axis. What is this one? So, moment of inertia about this axis is equal to 2 by 3 m r square plus m r square. 2 by 3 plus 1 is 5 by 3. Isn't it? Over. So, take it as other example. It was there in class 12th. Parallel axis theorem, perpendicular axis theorem. But very problem is in first view there is no calculus, and to prove these things you need calculus, isn't it? First year, class 11, and I think integration will come in the second year, isn't it? Class 12th. Again, they will learn mechanics without calculus. They will define instantaneous velocity without calculus, isn't it? Without knowing the differentiation. Yeah. So that's why I think in abroad they will cover that calculus in high school only. Yeah, it's not our problem. We have a lot of problem to solve here in vehicle. Okay. If you have any rigid body motion, if you have any rigid body motion, you have to divide that rigid body motion into two parts. One is motion of center of mass, motion about center of mass. Is it okay? Rigid body motion. Motion of center of mass plus motion about center of mass. Let me take the best example here, okay? The best example is, I have inclined surface, rough surface. On that one, a disc is rolling. On that a disc is rolling of radius a. Rolling without slipping. Rolling without slipping. Let me just solve this problem so that you will get this idea. Motion of center of mass, motion about center of mass. Okay. It has started from somewhere here. Okay. It has started from somewhere here at this point, and it has moved. Center of mass has moved this much distance. Okay. From this one. That's why let me call this one as x. X here. Okay. So now you have to write like this: your kinetic energy of this rolling body. Is that okay? So half m is the mass, okay, into velocity of center of mass the square. So then when you sit at that center of mass, you will have only rotational motion, either rotational motion or no motion, isn't it? When you sit on center of mass, isn't it? So you can't feel its own translation motion because you are in that frame. Am I right? That's why you can have half I omega square kind of thing, because you can feel only rotational motion when you sit on center of mass, because you are moving along with that one. You can't feel its own linear motion. Is that okay? So again, this is motion of center of mass. This is motion about center of mass. Is that okay? So now, so that this should not be neglected. So now, is that okay? Because earlier we used to take a particle which is moving like that. Am I right? So a mass, a small mass like that. Now we have a rigid body. Now we have to take it like this. Rigid body motion should be decomposed into motion of center of mass plus motion about center of mass. Over. Now we shall solve this problem. Now actually, I think I have taken this one earlier. Am I right? This example. This point was here when this disc was at the initial position. Is that okay? This point was here. Let me write this one as phi. Is that okay? Let me write this one as phi. Now, how do you write velocity of center of mass if you choose this as origin? If you choose this as origin, how do you write velocity of center of mass? X dot square. X dot, am I right? X dot is the velocity of center of mass. Is that okay? Let me write it here. Velocity of center of mass. Okay. Velocity of center of mass, that's equal to x dot. Is that okay? Now you need to define, when you sit in the center of mass, you will feel it is rotating. Isn't it? You will feel it is rotating. That's why you need to define one more coordinate for that rotational motion, and that omega will be equal to that phi dot. Is that okay? Omega, angular velocity, it will be equal to phi dot. Is that okay? I is the moment of inertia about an axis passing through this one usually. Am I right? When you sit on center of mass, you will feel like that. Am I right? It is rotating about an axis, passing through its center perpendicular to its plane. Am I right? That's why I equal to m a square by 2. But these two are related. Pure rolling constraint is a holonomic constraint. We have seen that. Am I right? So it is constrained by this equation. How can I write that one? X equal to a into phi. This much distance is traveled, and this distance equal to this distance, isn't it? So this distance equal to a into phi, s equal to r theta formula, and x equal to a into phi. Can I write like this? Is that okay? So that's why. So x equal to a into phi. That's why x dot is equal to a into phi dot. Now actually when you write this one, you will feel half m x dot square plus half I phi dot square. Am I right? You feel there are two generalized coordinates. Am I right? You feel like that, but these two are related. They can't be what you call generalized coordinate. You have to relate them. You have to convert that one into only one coordinate. Is that okay? So that's your choice. Either you can convert x everything into x or everything into phi. Is that okay? Wait a second. Let me write potential energy. How do you write potential energy? This is little tricky. You have gravity. How do you write potential energy? I need this height. I need this height. How do you do that? How do you write that height? I need this height. I mean, so how do you write the, mg into height? So that mass should, you should locate the center of mass, height of the center of mass from the Earth's surface. Am I right? How do you find this distance? So I think I need this length actually, this total length. Let me take it as L. How to write that one? This total length is L. Is that okay? Yeah, you need angle. Theta naught. Then, yeah, phi will not come actually in this height usually. If this is theta naught, is that theta naught? Is it theta naught? How do you argue? Plus a L into sin theta. L minus x. L minus x is this distance. Am I right? L minus x is this distance. Then L minus x sin theta naught. L minus x sin theta naught. That's it. Yeah. Is that okay? L minus x sin theta naught. That's it. Plus y should be L minus x sin theta naught. What it will give actually? Yeah. Actually, this is L minus x. I have to draw it carefully. This is L minus x. Okay. So shall I draw one more? Yeah. Let it be. Let me manage here. Okay. Actually, L minus x should be written here. So that is L minus x. Am I right? Yeah. L minus x sin theta, but you need this much height. Am I right? How do you write that height? or we need to write the geometry very carefully. Be careful in this problem. In the next chapter again, let me come to this problem. Yeah. Theta naught, x here, x distance traveled from the initial position, a here, and hit this side. Little confusing. Why you said you have to add a here? Distance? Huh. Yeah. You can use this one. Pi angle will not come actually. You don't know at what distance it is there. Isn't it? You need to define it with other things. The problem is, yeah, we have taken this as total length L, am I right? This one as total length L. But when we define it here, am I right? If center of mass trajectory is like this, I have to define it in this triangle, theta naught. Am I right? This is your L minus x. Now what is this one? A. This is A. Radius A. So this is L minus x sine theta naught. L minus x sine theta naught. This distance. What is this distance? If this is A, what is this vertical projection? If this is theta, I can take this is 90 minus theta, this is again theta. Vertical projection is A cos theta. Actually, it will not introduce any variable, okay? Variable is very important because ultimately any potential, any constant term comes, when you put into equation of motion, that derivative will come, it will get cancelled, okay? A cos theta naught, that's what I was expecting here. So I wanted to define theta naught here so that A cos theta naught should be added here. Okay, A cos theta naught should be added here. That would be correct actually. Is that okay? Or if you take this height, you can take this height plus this height, where this is theta naught, this is theta naught, this is A into cos theta naught. Is that okay? Total height is, so L minus x sine theta naught plus A cos theta naught. It doesn't matter if you take this one or additional term, it doesn't matter. For equation of motion, it doesn't matter. Geometry, okay? Work out the geometry properly. V is equal to m into g into height, m into g into what is the height? L minus x sine theta naught plus A cos theta naught. I can just write this one as minus mg sine theta naught into x, y plus some constant. Only care should be taken in this part. If you ask Lagrangian, you have to take care, okay? You need that one. If you ask equation of motion, it doesn't matter. What are the constant? Other terms are mg into L sine theta naught, mg a cos theta naught. Those are constant. And when you put that one into equation of motion, it's a derivative, it's in terms of derivative. That constant will get cancelled. Can I write like this? And now using this one, you can either convert it into A or convert it into phi. You can write Lagrangian, you can write equation of motion, only one generalized coordinate. Okay? Only one generalized coordinate. Try to work out this geometry, okay? Minus mg x sin theta naught. Mg sin theta naught into x. This part is constant, x is variable. And only this term makes difference, okay? Inclined plane, you can't take it as zero potential. Because it is at different point, is at different height from the Earth's surface, am I right? You have to take one horizontal plane as the, you can take this one also. Some people will take this one also. You can take this point as what you call your reference point, starting point, and you can proceed. Okay, that's also okay. But work out the geometry carefully. Whatever you do, this part should come. Whatever the potential you, whatever the reference point you take, this part should come. Because if this is the, if this differs, then your equation of motion will differ, isn't it? That's why our potential formalism is not unique. You can take, so here I have taken Earth surface as the reference point, am I right? You can't take incline because at different point, you are at the different horizontal height, of course, it should be different, okay? But you can take any point here, initial point or something, then again using that one, you can just find that one, okay? So suppose if you take this one as the point, initial point, then how do you find this height? X into sin theta naught. Look at here. X into, if you take this one as origin, x into theta naught, x sin theta naught, and if you take origin here, it is downward, minus mg x sin theta naught. You got that term? You got only that term. You are not getting any other constant term. So that's why look at here. If he give potential only this term, or this term, both are same. Or some other term which contains some more constant, it's also same. And that variable term should contain proper sign. Can you do that one? By taking this one as the origin. So try that one. Okay, try to work out the geometry. Yeah, will you do this one? Actually, there was one problem in CSIR. Simple pendulum, but your mass have got some dimension. It's not point particle now. No longer point particle. Is that okay? It has some radius A, mass m. This length is L. Okay, this length is L. Is that okay? Whatever you have done earlier, simple pendulum experiment, simple pendulum problem, that was motion of center of mass only, not motion about center of mass. We have neglected that one because that was a point particle. If there is a point particle, there is no motion about center of mass. But look at here, you have motion of center of mass also. Why? sorry, motion about center of mass also, because when you sit on that center of mass, it is rotating. Am I right? Can you feel that one? So it is coming like this. This hook is constant, so it is coming like this. When you sit on center of mass, you will feel some rotation. Is that you have to take that one also into account. So, but that rotation is decided by this theta only. That rotation is decided with this theta only. Can you just do this one? When it comes here, remember this hook is as it is. Okay, this hook is as it is. So now can you feel that one? It is rotating like this. Okay, that's your simple pendulum oscillation. Now you need to take motion about center of mass also into account. So then what would you do? What is the moment of inertia you take? If it is motion about center of mass, again axis through the center of mass is this one. Again, that's usually your pendulum bob is hard sphere. Am I right? Solid sphere. You can take that one as 2 by 5 mr square, ma square, like that, isn't it? Can you just do that one? So, but what do you write omega? Half m velocity of center of mass the square plus half I omega square usually. Am I right? For rigid body. For rigid body. So now that's equal to your kinetic energy. Am I right? Half m. What is velocity of center of mass? That is this velocity. Am I right? Okay, this should be perpendicular to this one. That's equal to, there is no radial velocity. Now you can take velocity of center of mass moving in a plane polar coordinate, and that's same as our earlier one. Now look at here, this length is L plus A. L is the length of the thread plus radius of that bob that we haven't taken earlier. We have taken that one as mass, point mass. L plus A into theta dot. The velocity of center of mass. Again, it has only tangential velocity, not radial velocity. L plus A theta dot in case of polar coordinate. Is that okay? So L plus A square theta dot square plus half I. How do you write omega? Omega is also theta dot actually. Can you just feel that one? It's a little difficult to argue. Omega is also theta dot actually. Omega is also theta dot. How do I show? It was here and it moved like this. Because this angle is theta, am I right? Am I right? This angle is theta. Now just to take one vertical axis. Just take one vertical axis. Now look at here, it is making this kind of angle. Here it is making this kind of angle, theta again. Am I right? Are you getting my point? So that's why again it is rotating like this. About this axis, again, how it rotates, that is defined by theta only again. Can you try to explain that one? I expect again omega is equal to theta dot only. And I equal to, usually you will take bob of the simple pendulum as hard sphere. That's why 2 by 5 m into a square. Now, can you find what is the new time period because of this one? Quickly, get me that one. New time period. So that if you take that one as a point mass in that new time period, you should get your earlier formula. Get me new time. This is motion about center of mass, okay? So, how do you define your potential energy? L plus A cos theta. So, try to argue this part, okay? Try to argue this part again. V is equal to minus mg, capital M I have taken, mg, L plus A cos theta. Minus mg, L plus A cos theta. Half theta dot square common m into L plus A the whole square plus 2 by 5 m a square. M is common. Am I right? 2 by 5 a square minus minus plus mg L plus A cos theta. mg L plus A cos theta. So, can you just do that one? You can form the same differential equation in place of g by L. What will come? Just observe that one and write a new time period, okay? Because of this. And if you put A equal to 0, it should be L by G again, as earlier, okay? Find new time period. Form the differential equation, find new time period. Yeah. In the string? How? No, actually, when you do free oscillation, it will be like this, isn't it? Or you better to take it as a rigid massless rod, so that no confusion occurs. Is that okay? You take it as a rigid massless rod, but if you give careful what you call oscillation, no other twist or something, extra twist, actually it will do like this only. It will do like that only. You can observe that one. Now look at here. Yesterday I tried to correct that one in some way. How? By if there is any by taking spherical pendulum thing, that its time period is altered. Am I right? Now look at here. This will also affect actually. You can't take very point mass, isn't it? Then its mass will be low, so that air resistance will be very high. So even though it's very small experiment, lot of things you can take to make it as accurate as possible, isn't it? Everything into consideration. Everything can be taken into consideration. Okay. So now, so find the time period. Okay. Find the time period. So argument is how omega, that is motion about the center of mass, again that's equal to theta dot. That argument we should get. Okay. Yeah. Now let me go to again one more Weichel problem. Again, we are running out of time. We better not to discuss classical mechanics in the evening. Okay, I'll start mathematics. Is that okay? We shall commit further. If I start classical mechanics again, whole evening class will be for classical mechanics. Okay. So try to apply your logic to other problem. That let me give some more problem from Weichel. So we shall discuss tomorrow only evening. We shall start mathematics. Okay, I need to start mathematics. I mean complex analysis. Okay, I have one more problem here. Yeah, again Berkeley question. I have actually at mean position, I have a thread here. And a rod here, okay, and a rod here. Now I am just displacing this one, okay. This is of length L actually. This is of length small l, other is of length 2L. He is taking like that. Small l, this is 2L. Okay, this is 2L. Now when you set into oscillation, it will be like this actually. Thread, let me just draw thread like this. Okay, let me call this one as theta 1, this one as theta 2. Is that okay? When you set into oscillation, and usually mg whatever you take, that is with respect to center of mass. Okay, this is mass into gravity. Now again you have to take motion of center of mass, motion about center of mass. Little work is needed. How to start? Suppose if you are taking motion of center of mass, so what are the things you need to take? Now this is not constant point of suspension. If this were constant point of suspension, that problem would be very simple, isn't it? I always said, what is that? Point, this will take velocity of point of suspension, okay? Suppose this point of suspension moves like this, suppose. Okay, so what is this velocity? L here, L into theta 1 dot, that is this velocity. Let me write directly now after this practice, okay. Tangential velocity is L theta dot, V theta, is that okay, in plane polar coordinate, okay. So now, actually, so, and this velocity is, can I write like this? What is this one? This is capital L. Total length is 2L. This is capital L. Capital L into theta 2 dot is this velocity when this was stationary. But it will take this velocity also. What is this one? L theta 1 dot. Just like earlier, double pendulum experiment. Am I right? Double pendulum experiment. Now what is this one? Theta 2 minus theta 1 again. Okay, theta 2 minus theta 1 again. Or you can assume there is whole mass were concentrated here, and you can just think like double pendulum. Okay. So this angle is theta 2 minus theta 1. This angle is theta 2 minus theta 1. Kinetic energy of center of mass should be written like this. Okay. So kinetic energy is equal to kinetic energy of center of mass plus kinetic energy about center of mass. Kinetic energy of center of mass half m into velocity of center of mass square. Okay. Now velocity of center of mass, it is a vector addition of these two, just like earlier. Is it a vector addition of these two? And so half I omega square. Of course, I have to do like this. When you sit on the center of mass, you will feel that it is rotating like this. Am I right? Yeah. Small l into theta 1 dot. Yeah. Capital L means, look at here, when this is stationary, when this point is stationary, look at here, this is doing like this. Now, it's the tangential velocity. When this point is stationary, this is the tangential velocity of this one. When this point was stationary. But, so, since this point is also moving, so this will take the velocity of this one. Just like in double pendulum experiment. Length is 2L actually. Length is 2L. That's why this half of the length, am I right? This is capital L actually. This is capital L. We have taken length 2L. Okay, up to center of mass, you have length L. He said like that. Okay, he said like that. Total length is 2L. That's why I have taken L. So 2L. I mean, so 2L. 2 into capital L. Okay. I mean, so I'm just copying that question. Yeah. So what is the question? This one. This one. No. This is just, I'm just copying and pasting this velocity. That would be different velocity, am I right? If you add something to that one. Just copying and pasting this velocity. Because this will take velocity of point of suspension, that's the idea. From again double pendulum. Okay? Or what you can do is you can define xy coordinate of that center of mass and you can proceed. But that would be very lengthy. Is that okay? You can define xy coordinate for this center of mass and you can start writing transformation equation and you can do that one. And J.C. Upadhyay has done like that in double pendulum. Okay, just follow that one. But I just avoid that one because you better to write it quickly. Okay. Now what is omega? This part is little difficult. Just like earlier. What is omega? Yeah. What is omega? How do you write omega? I think that's over. If you write omega, that's over. Isn't it? Then next step is writing the potential energy for center of mass and moving on. Can you just think over it? Again, that is Berkeley question. Let me just give that one. Okay. Yeah. Omega is whether theta 1 dot or theta 2 dot or theta 1 plus theta 2, theta 1 minus theta 2. What is it? theta 1 plus theta 2. Not, it can't be theta 1 plus theta 2. They are very independent actually. They are very independent. You got two generalized coordinate, remember. You got two generalized coordinates, theta 1 and theta 2, that I directly get into that coordinates actually. I'm not starting from Cartesian. You can start from Cartesian coordinate and you can make the transformation also. That omega is equal to actually theta 2 dot. Suppose it was like this. Okay. Suppose it was doing like this. I have a rod here. Suppose it was doing like this. Then there will be no motion about the center of mass. Am I right? So can I take like this? If it was doing like this, somehow, then there is no center of motion. I mean, then theta 1 is variable. Am I right? If it were moving like this, then theta 1 is variable. So when it will move like this, when theta 2 is variable. That's why rotation about center of mass depends on theta 2, that omega is equal to theta 2 dot. Only this part argument is very important in either your simple pendulum with a big mass or this problem or any of such problem. Any of such problem. Okay. Yeah. Question? Yeah. Let us have 6 to 7:30. Okay, in the evening, 6 to 7:30. Again, you have time. So just to solve a problem from the Grewal in the beginning part of the complex algebra. Okay, complex algebra, complex numbers, complex functions. Okay, I'll start with. I'll just go briefly through that one. I'll start with complex calculus, calculus of complex function. Okay. Yeah. Any question here? Can you just do that one? So can you just proceed writing the Lagrangian and then writing the equations of motion. Okay. Yeah. Again, from today, let me keep on uploading that test on Google Drive. Okay. Test on Google Drive. So I have some handwritten questions. I'll make it as a Google Drive test. Okay. So, and what I'm thinking is, wow, I'm trying to make these problems multiple choice. Weichel problem multiple choice. Okay, so that you can test yourself after that one. After you solve that one, you can test yourself. Okay, I'm thinking like that. So Weichel problem, making that one multiple choice. So that one of them is option. So that you can try that out. Okay, within some time limit. Okay, you have to keep time limit. Suppose today, let me give 20 question form, Google form. How much time it take for 20 questions? Suppose average mass of the question is 4 mass, not 3.5, not 5 mass. I mean, average is 4 mass. How much time you should take? Suppose if you want to score 130 marks. If you want to score 130 marks, you have 3 hours. You have 3 hours. Average number of questions that you should attempt. What is that one? 130 out of physics. Okay, I am not taking part in. How much you have to attempt? Can you calculate? 130 marks divided by 4. Make it divide by 4. Divide by 4 minutes. 130 divided by 4 is 4. 130 divided by 4. How much? 45 minutes. No, you should not divide 130 by 4. How do you calculate? You have to score 130 marks. Okay, I mean, I'll not give that much question. I'll give only 20 question. Okay, 20 into 4, 80. 130 marks in 3 hours, 80 marks in 1.5 hour. Don't take 2 hour, 1.5 hour. Okay, do 20 question in 1.5 hour. 20 question in 1.5 hour. Try to reduce that time, because in GATE exam and in BARC exam, you need to do lot of problem within short time without mistake. Again, okay. The problem is I can create multiple choice question out of this one, but it is very time consuming to make options very confusing. I have to think a lot of, I have to think and it takes a lot of time actually. I can give 4 options, other 3 will be nonsense options. Is that okay? Sometimes you can make a dimensional analysis also, if I do like that, okay? That's why. Yeah, anyway, this Vykelim question, you can't guess the last answer because it will follow through some lengthy steps actually in between. That's why you can't eliminate options, okay? You have to get it done actually. So that is I think that would be best material, that would become best material, making multiple choice question out of Vykelim. Questions are very good and that's better, okay? Let me do that one. Yeah, we shall see in the evening. Yeah. What is? Attachment to the center of mass. Now actually it will rotate very randomly, isn't it? You can write equation for center of mass, that would be same. Again 2 degree of freedom, because no relation between them. No relation between them, okay? Similar question is there in Goldstein, okay? I mean, you are saying like this: attach to center of mass and set it to oscillation. Then you have to define one, one angle for this rotation, one angle for this one actually, and there are no relation between them. No relation between them. Again, you need to solve it. Torsional pendulum. Torsional pendulum means, I forgot that. I think that will be like this. Like this. No, I'm not talking about that. Then I have to define that it should move only on the plane like that, okay? It should move only on the plane, okay? So there are some problem in Goldstein, we shall try that one, okay? Again, need ideas. But actually, this would become 3-dimensional rotation, isn't it? When you tie at the middle, it doesn't mean that it will move like this. It can move like this also. Am I right? Then it will have 2 degree of freedom. That rotation in 3 dimension of the rigid body, it itself will, linear rigid body. Linear rigid body in 3-dimensional rotation, it will have 2 degree of freedom actually. So just like diatomic molecule, we had one question, do you remember? Diatomic molecule, how many degree of freedom we have? We use that one to calculate a specific heat. Do you remember? Classical specific heat. Diatomic molecule, it will have 2 degree of freedom in spatial rotation actually. Okay, so that's why again you can think like that. Diatomic molecule, you can think like that. You have 2 atoms like this. Now, if you take one axis like this, other axis like this, 3 perpendicular axes actually, along this axis there is no moment of inertia, because there is no mass distribution. When you take this axis, when you rotate that one, there is no mass distribution about that axis. But if you take other 2 perpendicular axes, you will get mass distribution, you will get moment of inertia. Usually, degree of freedom would be only 2 over there. If you write that one, I think I had given that one. It contains 2 quadratic term in its kinetic energy. Okay, it contains 2 quadratic term in its kinetic energy term. Okay, in case of diatomic molecule, same thing will happen for any linear body. any linear body, same thing will happen. And we applied that one to find specific heat, am I right? So a 2 quadratic term due to its rotation and 3 quadratic term due to its translation. How many? 5 quadratic term, 5 by 2 kBT and 5 by 2 R, that is the specific heat showed by diatomic molecule at high temperature, low density. Let me design that kind of question. Okay. 16. Yeah, 16 is, yesterday I have done one problem actually. It's very difficult to think. If you have option, you can go from option to force. Are you getting my point? He asked you to find what is the potential, generalized potential, isn't it? He has given force, he asked you to find generalized potential. It's very difficult. You need to integrate, am I right? So you have a generalized force related to generalized potential in this way. d by dt of dou u by or dou qj dot minus dou u by dou qj. Is that okay? So now, so you have to write like this: force is equal to d by dt of dou u by dou r dot minus dou u by dou r. Now you need to find which potential will give that force. But if you have options, you can start with each option. You can take this part and you can just conclude which is the potential actually. Okay. That's why I better to make it as a multiple choice question. Otherwise, what would you do? You have to integrate. That would be lengthy again. You have to solve the differential equation. It's very lengthy. So again, that kind of question is also there somewhere in some competitive exam. Yeah. Yeah. In this question, what is I about center of mass? What is that one? Again, take your parallel axis theorem. I think that is m length square divided by 12 about center of mass. Okay. Yeah. That is again little difficult. This problem is little difficult to solve directly, or just substitute and try whether you can solve the differential equation or not. I think that would be very difficult. Okay. Substitute that force term 1 by r square, that would be lengthy. Okay. Yeah, that's why I just made that group so that if there is any idea, we can welcome those ideas. Am I right? Suppose this is the problem that I'm talking about. How to do it in actual way, isn't it? I can see the potential and I can say this potential will give this generalized this force, but how to do in the actual way, isn't it? That would be very lengthy. Example 9. Okay, 16th one or 9th one? 16th one. It's given over there in J. Upadhyay. Yeah, then you better to do that. Example number? Example number 9, I couldn't locate that one. Can you just see that one? 64. That's a solved problem, I think. Yeah, look at here. He tried to reduce that force part in this format. See that problem. Force is given by this one. Force is given by 1 by r square. 1 by r square, 1 minus r dot square minus 2 r double dot r by c square. Am I right? Now, by somehow try to make this one in terms of d by dt of some derivative of r dot minus derivative of r. Then you can just put that function as u. That's what he has done. Okay, just check it out. Solved problem in J.C. Upadhyay. So, what is this Rohilkhand University? Rohilkhand is a university. So look at here in his spherical pendulum problem in J.C. Upadhyay, he has taken z axis above. Just observe that one. You can do like that also. And just see that rolling disk problem. He has taken that potential like this. mg L minus x sin theta plus mg a cos theta like that. Okay. Just see that question. And try all example problem. Okay. Solve all example problem. But see the problem and see the solution. Okay. Try it yourself. See the answer. Okay. Try it yourself. If you solve all example problems from J.C. Upadhyay, let me just try all Gostin problem. I think that would be sufficient. Okay. Yeah. Any question? We shall see in there.